Lesson 262. Let me perceive no differences today. Welcome to the Qigong support for A Course in Miracles students. I am Judith and this is the Lucid Mind Center. And we are in the section with the special thought, what is the body? And as you know, this is a 10-day period where we are considering what the body is and also understanding that we can actually choose to use the body in a different way than the ego had purposed it. The reason why this is called a Qigong support is because after reading and contemplating the lesson together with you, I'm going to guide you to 2 Qigong classes where you can contemplate the lesson and also consider the special thought. One of them classes is a seated class and the other one is a standing, moving Qigong class. Let's begin reading our lesson together and I will give you more information at the end. We are still in Andalusia. Tomorrow I will be in Croatia and that's where I'm going to read from you tomorrow. Lesson 262. Let me perceive no differences today. Father, you have one Son and it is He that I would look upon today. He is your one creation. Why should I perceive 1,000 forms in what remains as one? Why should I give this one 1,000 names when only one suffices? For your Son must bear your name, for you created him. Let me not see him as a stranger to his Father, nor as a stranger to myself, for he is part of me and I of him. And we are part of you who are our source. Eternally united in your love, eternally the Holy Son of God. This is such an interesting thought and an interesting experience because today we have got the possibility to train ourselves to see that one self in each person that we actually meet. And that can be quite tricky, especially maybe if you're having a bad day and you might find it challenging to see the holiness in others, to find that, seeing that brother or sister in other people. But like I said before, it's not about the words, and it's not even about the meaning of the words in this level of A Course in Miracles. What it really is here about is about experience and applying the lesson to what you see, applying the lesson to the people you meet, and understanding that each one of them are kind of a different expression of yourself, a different experience of that one self, which you are part of. Let's have a look at the explanation. We who are one would recognize this day the truth about ourselves. We would come home and rest in unity, for there is peace and nowhere else can peace be sought and found, which is within you. The home is within, deep within you, and you want to sink deep within to that home, into that space which your body is occupying. So when you're sinking in, it's not that you're sinking necessarily within the body. You're just basically sinking within into that space. And we have learned in the last special thought that the body and the senses, they have been created to basically keep us in ego mode. And what we want to do, especially again in this 10-day period, is to repurpose the body and understand that we can use the body to change our mind, to see things differently. Let me perceive no differences today between the people I meet, remembering that each one is that Holy Son of God. Each one has got that light within them. And when you recognize it in them, then you remember that you have it within yourself. I always feel that when we fall in love, or when we're feeling close to other people, when we feel like we are connected, I feel that this is usually because we have seen the light. I used to call this, when I was young, I used to call that touch the soul. I used to touch the soul of that person, and it became like a very good friend. And I felt that this was because our souls connected. And there was only very few people I could have this experience of soul connection. But the way I understand the Course in Miracles is we should actively try to do this soul connection with each person. Every time look past their ego and connect with that light which is in every single one of us. Let's read that prayer again. Today the prayer is long. So in the Qigong class I'm going to ask you to read the idea, let me perceive no differences today, and the prayer, which is the part which is in cursive, written in a different font. Father, you have one Son, only one, and that Son is in every single one of us. And it is He that I would look upon today. We are going to focus on the Son, on that Christ within each one of them. He is your one creation. Why should I perceive 1,000 forms in what remains as one? Why should I give this one 1,000 names when only one suffices? For your Son must bear your name, for you created him. I said to you yesterday, and I'm also going to talk about it in What is the Body? If you feel that the God is rather a goddess, then you just have to remember that then everything, that the child is a daughter. It's the same. It's the sameness. It's not about that one is male or one is female. The reason why God is male and the Son is male is because it's the same creation. There is no difference. It's an extension. It's like the extension of light. If you believe that this is the universal intelligence, which is the source, then it's the universal intelligence which is within you. Why should I give this one 1,000 names when only one suffices? For your Son must bear your name, for you created him. Let me not see him as a stranger to his Father, nor as a stranger to myself, for he is part of me and I of him, and we are part of you who are our source. Eternally united in your love, eternally the Holy Son of God. And there's a very short explanation. Let's just read that as well, just before we close. We who are one would recognize this day the truth about ourselves. We would come home and rest in unity, for there is peace, and nowhere else can peace be sought and found than within yourself, the depth of yourself, that the depth of yourself where you actually return home. Because that's what you're perceiving out there, that is also always confusing you. So you have to dip in, go in, claim that space, claim it, and then use your senses to look at everything in a different light. Let me not perceive no differences today. So here's the standing Qigong class for this particular lesson. Here's the seated one. Here you have the reading of What is the Body, and here you have got the list of all Qigong classes which you can use for any of the lessons in A Course in Miracles. Enjoy and let me know how it goes.